Welcome to the Good Dad, Bad Dad podcast. I'm one of your hosts, Armand Sheffy, and my other host, as always, is here with me, Eric Schaefer. And we're two very different fathers, finding common ground in parenting special needs kids, sports, nerd culture, and who knows what else. But one thing that we do know, that any day you could be the good dad or the bad dad. We hope you enjoy. All right, welcome back, you guys, to another episode. We have been super excited for this conversation. We recorded one not too long ago, so for you guys right now who are used to us going like 6 weeks in between episodes, you're getting spoiled with this one. And speaking of spoiling, we're probably going to be spoiling a lot of things that we talk about today. So we're going to get into some Black Panther 2, Wakanda Forever. We're going to get into Andor. What are we going to talk? Tales of the Jedi and whatever else we feel like diving into as we're chatting. And we're going to spoil
Thanksgiving.
There you go. Maybe we should start with that. And we're going to spoil everything that we talk about. So if you didn't see any of those when we get ready to have that conversation, you might want to pause. So Thanksgiving, that's coming. That is coming. You guys got plans over there, Eric?
Yeah, we're going down to Fort Myers for Thanksgiving to visit Diana's parents. So
nice.
The last few years we've done Thanksgiving up here with my family, and the stars aligned, and we were able to get some decent rates on airlines. So we're gonna enjoy some 80-degree weather.
I mean, hey, now's the time for it, right? We had our first snow not too long ago. Crazy, within a week, it was like 70 degrees, and then it's a freeze. Like,
it's depressing, man. Like
it is, man.
It's dark at 4:30, 5 o'clock. The other night, like I fell asleep at like 5:30, and Diana's just like, you can't get in the habit of doing that. I'm like, I know, but it's like midnight. It's midnight outside.
I literally just about half an hour before this recording, I saw somebody who posted a Facebook post that said, the older I get, the more 9 o'clock becomes the new midnight. It's like, yeah, man, we can't hack it anymore.
No, and that's bad, because I want to go back to the time where I could hang till 11 and midnight, because that's like 3 more hours of, television watching, catching up.
Yeah.
Vegging on the couch and enjoying, 3 hours of relaxation. Now it's like the kids go to bed and you're like, oh, I could go to bed now.
Yeah, I'm about tired now too.
What about you guys? What are you guys doing for Thanksgiving?
Yeah, so we just confirmed plans, actually. My mom and my older brother are coming up. They're actually bringing a turkey. My mom already bought a turkey, so she's going to bake it and then bring it up. And I'm going to, and she's also bringing greens. My mom, not my mom, Larissa, her favorite thing to eat, I swear, that my mom ever does, are her collard greens. So she's making those for Larissa as well. And then we're doing a baked mac and cheese and potato salad and cranberry sauce. Oh, here's a question for everybody. So actually two questions. So this poll time related to Thanksgiving. These are just coming to me as I'm talking. So one, cranberry sauce. If you eat cranberry sauce, you can reply to this. You can tweet us. I have a feeling no one that listens decides to ever tweet or message, or they can't, because we've never heard from anyone ever. But I know we have people that listen. So anyways, somehow find a way to send a message that gives these responses. So if you eat cranberry sauce, are you, and this, Eric, you can answer if you do like cranberry sauce, are you a homemade cranberry sauce or a canned cranberry sauce?
I will first say I am not a cranberry sauce guy.
Oh, okay.
But I kind of feel like, having watched my mom's side of the family cook for over 30 years, their can and something just doesn't sit right when it comes out of the can and it's perfectly shaped and sitting on a plate. And I don't know. Maybe
Well,
maybe Diana's dad's gonna cook. Maybe he'll make some, and maybe I'll give it a try. But he'll make it from scratch.
so Diana's dad makes it from scratch, but
He
then
loves
your
cooking.
family growing up had the can.
Yeah.
So here's the deal. Your family's right. No, look. I'm sure can or homemade stuff is great, and I think for me, it's similar to you, but I actually like it. So for me, this is just the way that it is because that's
Yeah.
the way I've always had it, and so now it's just a dessert thing, and like that's the way all of my family loves it, even the ones that I grew up with and the ones that I'm raising. So Layla and Mateo both love the canned stuff, and neither one of them would try it if I gave them a homemade cranberry sauce that has like bits of actual
Well,
cranberry and
you
all
should
that.
try and do. You should do a little experiment when nobody's watching. Take the cranberry sauce, right?
Mm-hmm.
Put it in a blender, blend it up, and see if they like it.
Okay. And they might be like, wait, what is this? Nice little social experiment. Okay.
Yeah.
So you guys listening at home, let us know. Hit us up. You can email us at host@gooddadbaddadpod.com, or you can just respond wherever you might be listening to this on social media, which one you are. Okay, the next question, also related to Thanksgiving.
Hit me.
And this question is related to if you like well, I guess it depends on your answer to this. Do you like stuffing/dressing? And if you do, or even if you don't, what do you call it? Do you call it stuffing or do you call it dressing?
I've always called it stuffing, and I love stuffing.
All right, there you
Love
go.
it. But
You look like a stuffing guy. I like stuffing too.
one of the things that, I kind of find as you get older is your tastes change, right? So maybe
Mm-hmm.
you have had stuffing cooked one way, but you kind
Mm-hmm.
of want to try it a different way and you want to try different items. So that,
Mm-hmm.
my family was stovetop.
Yep.
Diana's dad makes it from scratch, so I'm looking forward to that.
I'm getting the sense that Diana's family, like they just home make
Dude,
everything, huh?
when they lived up here, Thanksgiving was like a week.
Oh wow.
A week. I
Wow.
mean, like that's Diana's favorite holiday. She loves it.
Okay. Well, that's awesome.
So
That's awesome.
so we'll go down there for I think 9 days we're going.
Oh wow, that's
Um
awesome.
we're gonna
Are you
get
gonna be off all 9 days? Or you're gonna be kind of working? Okay,
I am
nice,
off.
nice.
I am off. That's one thing about this new company. I don't get emails as much as I used to.
That's awesome. So you can actually take off and feel off.
So, I don't have to worry about fires being extinguished during the
Yeah.
week. But yeah, it'll be nice. The kids are excited. They get, a few extra days off of school. And I think, it's been a crazy year so far. So we're kind of ready for a nice little reprieve.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
we'll enjoy it. We've got a pretty special surprise brewing for the kids. Before the hurricane, we were going to spend the whole 9 days with Diana's parents, but the hurricane has kind of limited some of the things that we can and can't do in and around Fort Myers. So,
Did that impact them much? Did the hurricanes
no, they
impact
didn't
them
have
much?
any damage, but everything
That's
around
good.
them did.
Oh wow. Wow.
You know, Fort Myers Beach is a place that we frequent when we go there, and it was pretty much wiped off the map. So,
Hmm.
we're going to be looking for other things to do. But our kids don't know this. We're taking them to Magic Kingdom for one day, so that's
Nice.
a nice little surprise. We've got
And how many times have you guys gonna be in Disney in the
so
past like 2 years? It'll be like 3 times in less than it's probably like a whole like probably in a year, within a year.
so here's the thing, right? Like when the hurricane hit, I said to Diana, I'm like, why are we going? There's going to be nothing to do. Like everybody's going
Mhm.
to be rebuilding, and all of our spots, are no longer open. we were going to go to Tampa and go to Busch Gardens. Well, Courtney is kind of on board with some thrill rides. Kyle is all about thrill rides.
Right.
And I said to Diana, I said, I know you've wanted to do Christmas at the Magic Kingdom. I'm like, why don't we look and see, what options they have? Well, the park is open from 9 to 7, and then from 4 to midnight, there's like a special Christmas thing happening. That's what we're going to do. We're going to do the special Christmas thing. And
Okay.
the kids don't know about this, and hopefully
They're not hearing you now.
Yeah. But yeah, that's
Hopefully Kyle doesn't listen to this episode then before Thanksgiving.
Yeah, don't post it right away. I didn't even think of that. You might have to edit it. He says to me, right? He goes, Dad, when are you and Armand? This is today. We took him to Code Ninjas. He goes, when are you guys taping again? I said, I think we're taping tonight. He goes, well, I have to come on and talk. I'm like, well, what are you going to talk about? He goes, we're going to talk Black Panther, aren't we? And I looked at him and I'm like, you're just a part of our, He goes,
he could have come on.
He goes, I got a lot to talk about. And Dad, I don't know how to respond when you guys say message us and on social media. And I'm like, well, you're not there yet, buddy.
Oh, that's funny. That's funny. Well, I know you don't want him to take away from our flow, but in my opinion, he is welcome anytime you feel comfortable having him.
Sounds good.
Yeah, man, it sounds like you guys are gonna have a real nice Thanksgiving. Ours is definitely gonna be way more low key. Larissa does have the whole week off, and Mateo has the whole week off. Layla has Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. I've got Thursday, Friday. I might take Wednesday as well, just so maybe we can all have at least those 3 days. So yeah, we will have a little chill time. I don't think we've got anything big planned. Although this weekend we're going down to the city because Layla has a K-pop concert to go to. So We're making kind of a little mini weekend getaway out of it. Gonna get a hotel room, I think near Chinatown, I want to say, and then because that's where the concert. Well, wait,
what venue?
Yeah, actually, I don't even remember, bro. So just so we're clear, this, along with just about every other trip we take, I'm very uninvolved in the planning. Like this dad, he shows up.
Like, dad's good for two things: the ride and money.
There you go. That's right. So I'm down. Just tell me where to be and when to be, and I'll probably start asking these questions like the day of, like as we're getting ready to go. Like, okay, so where are we going? Like, But all I know is we're gonna go down to Chinatown. The night before the concert, we're gonna hang out and do some stuff. Then the day of the concert, we're gonna go to downtown. Layla and I are gonna go around Chinatown again because that's where she loves. But then Mateo and Larissa are gonna go to downtown, and she's gonna take him up to like the John Hancock, so he can look, because he always, every time we're anywhere near big buildings, he's always begging to go inside so he can go up. And I have no desire to look out of the windows of the John Hancock building. I'm a grown man who is not ashamed to admit I am terrified of heights.
You're feet on the ground guy?
Yeah. I mean, when we went to Paris a few years back, like a handful of years ago, I went up the Eiffel Tower, but like with Mateo, it would terrify me.
It adds another layer.
Yeah. And I know this kid's gonna want to be like all on the window, and I'm just gonna be like, no. So like I don't know. And Larissa doesn't mind. So I'm like, you know what, honey? You go do that with him, and I'll hang out with Layla. And I, she gets me. So we'll have a good old daddy-daughter time. So that's this weekend. And yeah, so I don't know what my main dish is gonna be. I guess maybe I should get some fish because I'm not gonna eat the turkey because I'm still that goofball who's not eating meat. But I'll eat some fish.
Nice. Get some sushi too, huh?
Yeah, maybe something like that. I'll probably do like a salmon because they're gonna have turkey, so I'm gonna have maybe a smoked salmon. That might be good.
Not bad. Not bad.
So yeah, now that I'm hungry after 9 o'clock at night, what do you say? Maybe we get into one of the Star Wars things. Maybe we'll close it out today with our Black Panther convo. You want to talk Tales of the Jedi?
Yeah, let's talk Tales of the Jedi first.
Yeah. So, what are you were the one who watched this first? It took me a while to really get some time to really sink my teeth into it. What were your first thoughts with it? Well, first of all, tell everybody what it is. Tell everybody a little bit about what it is.
I didn't really know what to expect when they released the trailer, right? Like, I think it was mentioned over a year or two ago that they were going to do a series called Tales of the Jedi, and it was going to be, short of characters we all knew and we've all watched over, the last 5 or 6 years. And I think one thing that Star Wars has done pretty well is they're starting to give you more of the backstories of these characters. And I think it was a 6-part series, and the series really focused on 2 characters, and it kind of makes you wonder what they're doing with these 2 characters because they highlighted them in this little series. The first episode was Ahsoka.
Yeah.
And
like really young Ahsoka.
Like, yeah. And you find out from an early age, maybe 1 or 2 years old, that she has already developed these force powers, and the village of her people have already recognized her. And you kind of see, she's a little bit different than everybody else, and the path that she's going to be going on is going to be different than the rest of her village.
I thought that was a cool opening episode to kind of get your appetite kind of set for the rest of it, because it was I don't know, very different than the other episodes, and I felt like there was a build. If I'm being honest there, where this one wasn't as super exciting, but it was cool to see, like, a bit of her start. I wish we had seen more of in between that young to where she is now. Maybe they'll have another season or something where we will. But I thought that was kind of cool.
Her whipping that. Definitely. The next few episodes, I don't know about you, but that's some of the best animated stories I've seen in a very long time, revolving around Count Dooku and his path from being a Jedi Master to an apprentice with Darth Sidious, and just the conflict that he went through, that he started questioning pretty much everything that the Jedi stood for. And even with his apprentice, when he was a Jedi, oh man, now I forgot his name.
Was that Qui-Gon?
Qui-Gon.
Yeah.
Trying to steer him and trying to guide him, but you could see that there was a whole lot of conflict in the episodes that Dooku was a part of, and the last couple of episodes where he fell to the dark side. I don't know about you, I love that. It
was dope. It was dope. And like, I thought what was interesting is, like, you don't realize it until you get towards the end, but they're writing it as though, like, this whole time he's been, like, already living this other life, and you just don't even realize it. And now you're just starting to hear it kind of come out of him and show up in some public ways. So it even makes you think, like, so how long before this series even started in his journey was he just, like, quietly feeling different things? Because at some point he then had to then agree to be, or even come on the radar of, the Emperor, and then agree to be his apprentice, and then start doing these things. You know what I mean? And then it's like then the season picks up in there, somewhere. So, but I thought it was super dope. I loved the fight scene with that. I almost said the fake Yoda. I don't, I don't know. I don't know. What's her name?
Master Yaddle.
Yaddle. Was that a he or a she?
She.
Okay, it felt like a she. I'm like, I can't remember.
She had like a brief little cameo in Phantom Menace, and then we never saw her again.
Okay. So they're kind of leaning into that bit there.
Yeah.
I thought it was cool that we got more of Mace Windu here. I thought it was cool to see Qui-Gon as a younger man. So I thought that was a nice little nod.
They gave you such a snippet of him, Count Dooku, in episodes 2 and 3, where you knew he was a Jedi at one point and he had fallen, but you didn't realize like how powerful of a Jedi Master he was.
Right.
And, things could have been differently if he didn't fall to the dark side. He might have been one that could have kept, the Jedi in power and in control. And
true.
You got some of a storyline in Clone Wars because he appeared in a few episodes, but you got a whole lot of backstory on him with these little shorts. But I would definitely be down for a season 2 if it
for sure
gave us more of these two characters and then add a couple of more. But
yeah, but say they could do these with like all the Jedi. you know what I mean? Like just every Jedi that we know as some of the not so core Jedi, because we know a lot of the backstories, a lot of the core Jedi, but like give us some of these minor Jedis and give me a Mace Windu.
I was just about Jedi. You just stole the words right out of my mouth.
yeah. Like I'm ready for that.
That's a character that is so powerful, and I think everybody gravitated to him because how well of a job Samuel L. Jackson did with the character.
Yeah.
And we didn't see his full potential in the 3 movies. And I get everything in those first 3 were supposed to be centered around Obi-Wan and Anakin, but give me more of some of the other Jedis that we've seen throughout the movies.
And actually, I mean, bro, and I could just be, me, I'm very forgetful, so you have to often remind me. Have we ever gotten like an actual origin story for Yoda?
No, but we're going to with the High Republic, I believe.
Oh, okay. Because I'm like, yeah, we need that. Like, definitely, we want that. Like, come on, wait a minute. Like the Jedi of the Jedis, in my opinion, So yeah, I'm totally with you. I definitely loved it. Part of the reason why I was taking so long with it was because I didn't want to treat it like I ended up treating a lot of Clone Wars.
Yeah.
Where it was like something I just threw on in the background and I didn't really actually watch it. And I saw myself doing that with the first episode, and then I was like, wait, I can't do this. I need to give it time. And then I kept forgetting. And there was it was coming at a time when there was a lot of things. There's just a lot of stuff out, And I'm like, okay, I need to make time for it. So, but I'm glad I did because it definitely was worthwhile. So I'm looking forward for more of that. Related into the Star Wars world. Come on, somebody. Andor. And are y'all not seeing the mouth gaping wide open as I say it?
I'm
that show.
Yeah.
Like we saw the trailer and we both were like, oh, this looks like it's going to be good. Like good writing. And we knew how much we enjoyed Rogue One. But yeah, this is better than I even was anticipating. Because I mean,
I think the story writing is right on par with The Mandalorian.
Yeah. Yep.
And I think it's also kind of refreshing. Not that there's anything wrong with Jon Favreau and Dave Filoni, but having somebody of an outsider start doing these.
So who is? I should have looked into this. Who is doing these? Do you know? Are they directed? Are each episode directed by different folks, or is it one director?
One director.
Yeah. That tracks. And I don't know who I was having this conversation with, But that was my one knock against The Mandalorian. Was there were episodes that just felt kind of like, why is this here? This
Yep.
doesn't really connect. So but this, and I think it was at Thanksgiving or my Friendsgiving that I had not too long ago, that we were talking about the show, and I was like, and this guy too was a huge fan of The Mandalorian. I was just saying just this thing where it was like, the one thing was I felt like there's a couple filler episodes where it was like, I don't really know what they're trying to do, but they're just kind of doing a thing. But like, I never got that feeling with Andor. It always felt like this is a core piece of the story, and we are slowly moving the ball down the field. Like it really looked like they had a master plan, and like, here's the whole story, and we're just gonna piece by piece give it to you.
I totally agree. Like there were some episodes with the Book of Boba Fett and Mandalorian where we both were like, okay, that was, like you said, like a filler.
Yeah.
Um, I'm waking up every Wednesday morning to get downstairs to watch because I know how the story is progressing. Like there's no filler episode.
Yeah.
It's all part of the main. Every episode is a part of the story intact. And
Mm-hmm.
the last 3 episodes I think have been the best Star Wars content that Disney Plus has put out.
Oh, for sure, for sure. And another thing with Andor is like, it really has you like anticipating, because you're like, I still am not sure where they're going with this. But like, you like what you're seeing, but you're like, you don't know where it's gonna go. Like, you have no real
I
understanding
mean,
of like
when he got sent to the prison and they're building all of those parts, you can only assume they're building it for the Death Star, right? Like that
right,
has
right.
to be what they're doing.
Yeah.
And just how ruthless the Empire is, that they have these, I don't want to call them concentration camps, but that's what, they're
Yeah.
they're labor camps.
Yeah, yeah.
And how it's minimal security, and you get no shoes, and if you don't conform, you get zapped
Yeah, yeah,
on the
it's
floor.
the it's quite merciless. Very and very well planned. They thought they had it all together. Oh man, but yeah, just seeing it slowly, unravel, where they're like peeling back layer after layer. It's like, oh man, this is good. This is so good. And like, up until even this last episode, like, you could really be telling this story completely outside of the Star Wars universe.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And like, it doesn't even have to be in Star Wars. This last episode felt like the most Star Wars of all the episodes, where it's spoiler alerts if you haven't already noticed. Where what's the main bad guys, not bad guy, but the rebel guy, the one who's like
Saw
the mastermind.
Gerrera.
No, okay, Saul Guerrero. That was dope that he was in there. Forgot about even mentioning that. Come on, gosh. And I thought they did a good job of like reverse aging him too, based on how he looked in Rogue One. But the one Saul I was talking to, the one who's masterminding all of this stuff?
Luthen.
Do you remember his? Yeah, Luthen. Okay. So when that Star Destroyer, I think it was a destroyer, was honing in on Luthen, they had him, and then like, he just like broke loose, and then, dude, the move with the lightsabers on the ship, I verbally lost it at like 6:40 in the morning watching this on my living room. I was like, whoa, that was dope. That was
That I
really
mean, like
dope.
that's what you wanted with like Obi-Wan and
Yeah.
the Book of Boba Fett, and this series has that Star Wars feel to it, and you just
Yeah.
don't
Yeah.
get that with those two other series. So,
Yeah.
they're in the Star Wars universe, but they just seem cheesy. And
Well, I mean, definitely Book of Boba. I don't know if I thought Obi-Wan felt super cheesy. I felt like Obi-Wan felt like, I don't know, the writing was less believable.
yeah, Yeah.
Like there was a lot of it that I was just like, I don't know if I
Well, they
really
used a
think this
lot
is
of
real.
that screen, where they didn't build many
The
set.
vault.
Yeah. And then with Andor, almost everything is a set. They're not using the
Mm,
screen. And that what, kind of makes you feel like you're immersed into the storytelling
yeah.
because it looks and feels real. And
Right. Right.
I'm excited, man. I can't wait for next week's episode. I
Oh yeah.
don't know where they're going with it. I know
I know.
there's lots of pokers in the fire, because
Yeah.
the Empire is hot on his trail. The security guard who's been living with his mother, that relationship cracks me up. That mother is
Yeah.
like the biggest uh, antagonist to get her son riled up, and
Oh yeah, yeah. She's no fun.
she is
I feel bad. And it does make you still wonder, like, what's his story? Because like there's this whole story behind the story that seems like they're building, but then we don't quite see it fully. Like it intersected at one point that it seemed like he was cast aside, but like he's still moving forward. It's like, is there going to be a way that he's going to come in here and like blow stuff up in the last episode, or are they going to set us up for season 2, maybe of Andor? I
Oh
don't
yeah, they've
know.
already confirmed season 2.
Okay, so then that's
I
that's
think
that
he's
that feels like that might be more likely than.
I think he's gonna go to Ferrix for the funeral because he knows
Oh
Andor is
yeah,
gonna be there, and
and they're gonna
I'm
have a showdown there.
yeah, and I think the deputy chief, she's gonna show up and she's gonna screw everything up, and he's gonna, live the, live for another day, and that's
Yeah,
how we'll probably get season 2.
I've even liked her story development, that the deputy chief, where you see like she's, you know, really clever and like can see through a lot of the plans, and unlike anybody else in the empire was really able to do. And I thought it's interesting. I did think it was bizarre, and maybe not super, but like I was surprised she did not try and bring the that security guard or whatever into working on this thing, because like he's like the only other person in the empire who
Yeah,
seems to like have a nose for what's going on here and the desire to actually try and fix it. So it's like,
right.
why not like make him an ally versus like shunning him and
Yeah.
sending him out? I don't know. I thought that was interesting.
Well, and now you're seeing um the wheels turning with her, right? Because she kind of knows that the girl Andor's, friend has information. They can't get it out of her.
Yep. Yep.
And in the back of your mind, she's going to end up, connecting with that a security officer again. And
Right. Right. Right.
uh, it should be a great finale, man. I'm excited. I'm curious to see where Mon Mothma's character goes, because now it looks like she's in a lot of trouble because she needs some money and she needs it quick, and they don't
Yeah.
really tell you what Andor did with the money, did they?
No, but I mean, she didn't. He didn't have all the money. He just had his part of it, right?
No, I thought he had it all.
No, I thought he just left. So like, if it, at some point it looked like he was robbing them, but then
No,
he was.
he pulled off the heist and he escaped, and then he went to that planet on vacation and he got arrested.
Yeah, but like he didn't have all the money when he pulled off the heist. It remembers it was him, the blonde, and then the dude who was like, "I'm gonna take it all, and you and I can split it," type of deal.
Yeah,
And then Andor killed that dude, and then told the other girl, was like, "Yo, your guy was gonna like try and steal it all," and then they were about to have at it, and then he was like, "Hey, I'm not trying to take it all. Like I just want mine." And so I felt like at that point he said, "You keep yours, I'm taking mine, but I'm out of here." So I don't think he took all the money, but I actually was waiting for when we found out the blonde, I guess, is, what did you say her name? The main girl, the main woman's name is
Mon
the
Mothma.
Mon Mothma. Okay,
Well, she's
when
she's the senator.
yeah, the senator. Okay, so the senator's cousin, sister. What is it? Is it what
Cousin.
was the relation? Cousin.
Yeah.
So her cousin. I was waiting for her to be like, "Well, yo, cuz I got a lot of money from this from this heist that we just pulled. Let me help you out."
But yeah, I
But
don't think she hasn't offered any of that yet. So
no, she hasn't. So
I think that's coming.
yeah, I hope so because like her cuz is like about to sell her, her baby cousin off for marriage for a couple bucks. So yeah, you better
The
figure
only
something out
part that I
fast.
don't get is who is this Krieger guy?
So yeah, I don't fully understand his character other than he's a rebel that they somehow were tracking and were finding out that he was connected to the Rebel Alliance, and they were then going to use him as like bait for the rest
I
of the
got that,
alliance.
but
But
like,
I don't know who he is. Yeah,
me
I don't
neither.
know what his whole story is really.
He's not a
Um,
character that we've seen yet.
not that I know of,
No.
but it wouldn't be first time that I was lost and confused on something. So,
What did you think of Andy Serkis's character?
oh, I loved his character. I thought he did a great job. He and I loved his story, his character's arc. I was sad though, like the way they had that thing end. Like I'm like, oh come on, man! Like that's the most depressing thing. Like this
Could
guy
swim?
just, yeah. Like after all of that, he's just gonna, all right, well, you're dead, you're gone. Like what? Like hopefully he's gonna show up later, and like we're just gonna find out that he found some way off of that prison because we didn't actually like see him die, you know.
Right. Well,
So
they're making you assume that was
right,
his fate.
yeah. So I think with that assumption, there's the possibility that we are wrong. So I'm just gonna hope that just remains to be true. But yeah, no, I really loved his character and um his the development that he went from like hardcore. I'm basically like the dog for the empire to like forget
Right.
that. Yeah, we're gonna take them all out. Like like that was cool to see. And yeah, I don't know, man.
It gave
It's
me
really powerful
hope
stuff.
when they left that doctor, right? When the old guy passed away,
Mm.
and they were returning to their cell, and Andor asked him how many armed guards.
And then he answered.
And then he answered, and then you knew, like, oh my
Yeah,
God.
yeah, you totally got it right, man. Because and that was perfect, and it was like Andor knew, like, okay, I'm sure things have changed now, right? Like, yeah, that was like a big turning point in the whole
Yeah.
season, right there. That moment,
Well,
absolutely,
you
because you
kind of
didn't
think
know.
like they're stuck there, right? Like
Yeah, and you're like,
you
where's this show going? Like, this dude's gonna be just here, like, plugging away for
you knew
years.
that like you had a feeling like they're not really leaving once they're there, but
Right.
then they confirmed it in episode 10 that there was a mishap with prisoners on level 2, and
Mm-hmm.
they were supposed to be released but released onto a different floor, and then they wiped that whole floor. And I mean, that was,
Yikes.
it's good to see the other side of the empire, because you always see the Sith and Darth
Right.
Vader and Palpatine, and
Mm-hmm.
and you don't really fully understand how oppressive they were to all of these planets and the
Right.
the
The
populations.
actual people, yeah, the actual people of all those towns. That's so true. Yeah, because that's literally what this whole story is giving you, like that, because that's where the rebellion was born, was in the populace and where all the people are, because they're like, no, screw this. We're not going to take this anymore.
Right.
It didn't happen in like the Jedi Council or some, high and mighty, powered rooms. It was like in villages like Ferrix or planets like Ferrix, and where people were like, no, we're done. We're standing up. And it was so cool how his role in the rebellion was like radicalizing his mom, and he never he never told her, right? I don't think he ever told her that he was
No,
the
but I
one,
think
right?
she knew.
Did she?
I
Oh,
think she knew.
yeah, I don't know. But I thought that was really cool that, like, he's the reason why she's all like fired up,
Yeah.
So now we get to see what happens when he shows up to the funeral.
Yeah. Can't wait for
It'll
that.
be a good one. Yeah, it'll be a good one. We might come back with another bonus episode after that. We'll see.
Our bond's on fire now, man. We're fine.
I just get all excited. I'm like, I gotta talk about it. We gotta talk about it. So speaking of things that get me excited that we need to talk about, we are going to now have the conversation that I've been looking forward to about Black Panther 2, Wakanda Forever. You guys missed me doing the arm crossing
all dressed up in Black Panther garb, and
I should go get my hat. I got a Black Panther hat. I wore my favorite Black Panther merchandise. It's definitely not even actually official, but it's a Wu-Tang shirt with the big W. Yeah. Instead of saying Wu-Tang, though, it says Wakanda.
Nice.
So I love that one. It's like merging of two of my favorite things, hip hop and Black Panther. So man, do you want to give your first thoughts first, or do you want me to go first, or what?
You can go first. I mean, I know how much this movie means to you.
Sure.
And I know, via text, like I love the movie, but I have a lot of questions.
You're always the questions guy.
Questions.
If I have a question, I honestly will probably, and it's not just in this movie, but with like so many movies, I don't usually walk out with like, oh, I wonder.
Here's a little nugget to stick around and hear our whole discussion, but this was the first movie that I almost walked out of if something would have swung the other way.
Really? Okay, now I'm intrigued.
I was almost done with the MCU, but
whoa. Okay.
Cards on the table.
Yeah, no, that's cool. Now I want to hear what?
Pissed.
Okay. So my first thoughts. So I really enjoyed it. I wouldn't say it was a perfect movie by any stretch of the imagination. I didn't like it as much as I liked the first one. I thought the first one, first of all, had I don't know, it was a greater cultural significant moment in that regard, because it was the first time, not the first time that we saw like a black character as a superhero, but it was the first time that I think a lot of black / African culture was embraced and like elevated as like a thing to be celebrated, a greater than thing versus a lesser than thing, which it often looks like. So I thought as a result that first film was just a great celebration of that. This one was also impactful, but because of the depths that they dove into grief and the journey that people have with that. I actually ended up liking the choice of handing it over to Shuri, just because of the way that they did it. Going into it, that would have never been my first choice. I know that, to a degree that's comic book accurate because she ends up taking it on.
Well, it's
but
comic
I want
book
it
accurate, right? Like almost present day.
Right. But not like right after he takes over. Yeah. And so I think part of my hesitancy with seeing her as it is just always, for me, just having a sense of her not being a a physical force by any means, and more of an intellectual force. So to now see her try to step in as the physical, a physical force in that way, I just was hesitant to see that.
And to
But I
me, it
think
didn't feel real
it didn't.
when she became Black Panther. It just didn't feel real.
Well, you know what? It didn't feel like she was in charge, really. Like
Right.
it felt like, I don't know. I mean, and maybe this is because of all the things we're already saying here, where there's a sense of it. It doesn't seem like she's earned the mantle. Like, it doesn't seem like she's ready for it. Doesn't seem like she has the maturity. Like all these reasons where it's like you're really not the one, but you're the one. You know what I mean? Like, so I think maybe that's part of it. Like, even when she shows up and is like kind of face to face with M'Baku, and he's like, he grabbed, they do like this arm wrestling thing for a moment, and like he loses, which I think right there in that moment is even this understanding of like, you need to prove yourself. You know what I mean? Like, and that was the moment of her like trying to prove herself to him, where like there was never a sense of like T'Challa needing to prove himself as the Black Panther. You know, like, yo,
Yeah.
I'm the Black Panther. I'm the man. Other than facing off challenges for the throne. But anyways, I'm getting way deeper than I meant to on my initial thoughts. Sorry, let me just finish my initial thoughts, and then we'll have a more vibrant conversation. So I really loved a lot. I liked the emotional drive of the film. A few key performances, specifically from Angela Bassett as Queen Ramona. Oh my gosh, what's her name? Queen Ramonda. I almost said Ramona. I'm like, it ain't not Ramona. Queen Ramonda of Wakanda. Okay. And even Shuri, especially at the end. I love what they did with the end credit scene, and young T'Challa there. We'll talk about that more, I'm sure. Things I didn't like real quick. I didn't like the suits for Riri Williams. I liked her I'm in my lab, like, back home suit, because that felt understandable and made sense to me. Did not like her I had a week in Wakanda to build this thing, and it comes out looking like a Power Ranger meets Voltron.
Yeah.
And then
I would
didn't
agree.
like, yeah, and I didn't like Okoye's suit. It was, I don't know, just like weird. I don't know, it was
Well,
just like,
Midnight Angels is another, like, a higher group that protects. Like, they work in
also, is that an actual
defense.
comic book character?
Yes.
Was
Yes.
that suit comic book accurate?
The suit, not so much. I don't think it's like an Iron Man type suit. I think it's just a uniform.
Yeah, so it's less, yeah, but it still looked, I mean, it was suit-ish. It was a suit in the same way that yeah, like an Okoye suit, or, well, that is the new Okoye suit, but like, what, the
Yeah.
Dora Milaje, I can never say their name.
Dora Milaje.
Dora Milaje. I can say any of the names. Yeah, but like, I don't know. I think maybe more the headpiece that I thought just looked weird, and like almost like an underwater predator. So,
Underwater submarine, right?
yeah. Actually, no, I think more like Aquaman meets the Predator. So, anyways, so those are my thoughts. You go, and then we can talk. Just wanted to take this moment right now to let you know that the Good Dad, Bad Dad podcast is brought to you by the Freedom Story Podcast Network and Freedom Story Media, where we create compelling video, dynamic graphics, and amazingly effective websites to help you experience freedom and joy in your business and in life. Now let's get back to today's episode.
I think we both agree, like, Ryan Coogler was in a no-win situation with this movie, right?
Yeah, it was a
He
rough spot.
lost
Yeah.
he lost his star. The movie, and he talked about this on record. This movie was supposed to be about how T'Challa was coming to grips with Thanos' snap, and he
Mm,
was trying to figure out his place in the universe, in Wakanda, and unfortunately, we didn't get to see that movie. So
right,
I,
right.
I get that you have to pivot and you have to pivot fast. I don't really know just yet how I feel how they handled his death in the movie.
Hmm.
When they talk about the heart-shaped herb, it gives the taker, you know, all of these different powers and immunities, and I kind of feel like they skateboarded through that. Like he just had this disease and he was gone.
Oh, they didn't really tell you what it was and why he died.
Well, if he had the herb in him, how is he contracting this disease, right? like
Right, right.
like I think, I don't want to be too critical, but I think they could have done a
No, I get
lot
it.
better um storytelling of how he, came down with it. I think you would probably agree with me in this case. Kugler killed it with Neymar.
Oh yeah. And you know what? And that was the one that I was leery about because in the comics, he's like an Asian character.
No, he's
He's like,
Hispanic.
isn't he?
Yeah,
In
no,
the
he's Hispanic.
comics?
Yeah.
Oh, I gotta look that up. Cause I felt like I remembered personally. Maybe I just always had him in my mind as
Yeah, no.
uh the wrong because I thought he was from the Pacific. Um oh man, am I a racist? I think I might be a racist.
Uh-oh.
I think I just found out that I'm a racist, you guys, right here live on the podcast. Because I had never really like read his stories, but every time I saw him, I literally looked at his this is gonna sound so bad, but like his eyes, and I was like, oh, he looks like an Asian underwater character to me. So in my mind, I always had him as an Asian superhero. So he's always been Hispanic, huh? And so like we're like all right now Googling it. If you're listening at home, feel free to Google as
Yes, we're
well.
Googling.
We're all doing our deep dives in Google. We did talk. I don't know if we talked on the pod or just personally that it was Atlantis before, and then that was a shift, right?
Yeah, that was another thing that I think Kevin Feige bowed down to, is he didn't want to
Mm-hmm.
confuse, Neymar's underwater, you know, city to Aquaman.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so look, so I'm looking at, and now this is Wikipedia, so this could be like I clearly picked the worst of all of the topics. Um, they this statement didn't. I mean, it doesn't say like um a country type of thing, and which makes sense because he's from Atlantis. So why would they say like he's Asian or whatever? Because he's in his own world. But they placed him. This says at some point when Namor was a child, the people of Atlantis relocated and built a new kingdom. Oh, they relocated and built a new kingdom near the Pacific Northwest. Where were they at before?
They were East Coast, like Atlantic.
It says Namor was born in the capital city of the Atlantean Empire, then located under the Antarctic ice pack. Wherever the heck that is. So I don't know, and I think I'm gonna have to like
Do a deeper dive.
do a deeper dive into
Yeah, I
some
mean,
other stuff. But I think always looking at his character, my first thought was always that he was like an
Asian
Asian
Pacific.
character. Yeah, yeah, from like a Pacific Island type of deal. So that was just an assumption that I made. And so when I saw this, when it was going from like Namor to like Namor, I was like, huh, that felt like a quick
Hispanic
little
vibe.
spin. Yeah. So I mean, it's definitely a Hispanic vibe. I mean, it's like his translation of trying to say no love, like no amor, Namor.
Yeah.
So I got that. I thought that was cool. That was a good way to like, explain the name. But yeah, they to your point, killed it with the casting. This guy, I thought he did a phenomenal job with that character. I love the character. I love their whole world. And dude, are those Atlanteans not fear? Or wait, no, they're not Atlanteans. They are. What are they called? Where are they from now? Not Takao. What is it?
Kulakan.
No, but that's what he's called. The cool. He's called.
No, he's called Kula. He's called something different.
Cuckoo, and they're like Kulkulkan. He's called.
Yeah, Kulakan in the movie is like their version of Atlantis.
Okay, all right. If anybody has like anything that corrects any of us, please do just respond.
Dude, somebody send us a line.
So yeah. Anyways,
I think he got Killmonger right in the first movie.
Yeah,
and he got Namor right in the second movie.
Yeah,
I think bringing in Valentina and Everett Ross added another layer to the backstory of Ross and how it looks like Valentina is going to have a huge role going forward.
Yeah, it helps set up Thunderbolts a little bit more, I think.
Yeah, Riri Williams, I mean, like, I wasn't totally put off, but some of it seemed a little cheesy at times.
Yeah.
You see how much this rock means to Wakanda and the Atlanteans, the vibranium, and you could see that Namor, with Chadwick Boseman's Black Panther, T'Challa, he's going to do everything he can to protect his people. And when Riri Williams' machine gets a little too close, you kind of get where the movie's going to head. I thought it was good. I thought it could have been better. Where they almost lost me as a Marvel fan.
Yeah, I want to hear this.
So Kevin Feige and Ryan Coogler, 4 days before the movie came out, said that Namor is on the same wavelength strength-wise as Hulk and Thor.
Really?
So when you hear that, you hear he's not to be messed with.
Right.
You see how much damage the Hulk can do, and you see what, when Thor's not blooping around with Love and Thunder, how much of a force he can be.
Yeah.
When he was laying on that beach, and I said out loud, if they're going to kill him off, I'm out. If they would have killed him off, I was done.
So I was not at the place where you were as far as like your response, but I was like, this would be a dumb thing to kill him off. And not just because of, so I didn't actually know about that other than the line that I think M'Baku says that he's like, oh, they're like a Hulk or something like that. So I hadn't heard the way that they'd built up his strength, but I know like the long-standing history of this character, and it's like way more impact than like Killmonger was to the entire universe to introduce and then kill in the same movie. I thought would be just like, why? I wish they hadn't killed off Killmonger at this point, but I'm glad we did get him back in the ancestral plane. But I'd be like, no, this would be like a dumb move to kill this guy off now already.
In my head, I was out. Kyle looked at me and he's like, what? I'm like, if they kill him off, I'm going to go wait in the car for you guys. Because I'm tired of Marvel killing off these great villains
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, I mean, even Killmonger, like
Yeah.
bringing him back into this movie. I don't know about you, but it just gives you a little chills that a villain who actually, you know, made a lot of sense with what he was,
Hmm.
trying to get his message across in the first movie. They kind of brought him back, and you
And
know,
that's even why he got brought back. Because on that the rationale that he had was connecting with Shuri.
yeah,
Because like she's like, I'm where you're at now, but she didn't want to admit it because she knew he was a villain. And she was like trying not to embrace being a villain, you know? Yeah.
yeah.
So I
So
thought that was cool.
the Good Dad Bad Dad podcast would have been talking about DC movies, and we probably would have folded.
Oh no. Yeah, that would have been the last. We would have been over, you guys. We would have been over.
So, but
That's
yeah, I
funny.
mean, the other thing that I didn't really like, you know, I read a lot of articles, and
First
Feige did,
mistake.
yeah, Feige did an interview. Um, I don't remember. I think it was comicbook.com. That recasting was never in the cards,
Okay.
but the interviewer asked that you're in the middle of the multiverse saga right now.
Right.
What is your thought on bringing a T'Challa from another timeline? And he said that he would be on board for that.
Yeah. So what are you upset about?
I'm upset that in the comics, like Nakia and T'Challa never really had a relationship.
Oh, okay.
T'Challa's main relationship was Aurora Monroe,
Who's that?
who is Storm.
Oh, okay.
So
Well,
you
but how do you make that happen now outside?
well,
I hear what you're saying.
you're laying the groundwork, right? Miss Marvel gave you your first mutant, right?
Right, but the only way you do that is by recasting. So that's why you sounds like you're for a recasting that they didn't do.
There's certain ways you can do it with still paying respect to Chadwick Boseman, right?
Yeah.
I think the character, not the actor, means more to the fans than the actor, right? The actor poured his heart and soul into it, and I'm not
Yeah.
trying to diminish what he did, but it's the character. It's Black Panther, it's T'Challa, it's, you could always pay respect. So I think bringing somebody from another timeline, it wouldn't have fit with the story they were trying to do, but you know, that's who he had his kid with, was with Storm. And you saw Neymar come out as a mutant, right? Like he
Hmm.
basically said he came from two different
Yeah. So we got the introduction of the first mutant just like they had in the comics. But at the same time, I mean, we've seen over and over again where the
yeah, they're gonna
MCU doesn't do exactly like we see in the comics. They are reinterpreting and applying their own creative license to things. And personally, I thought it was a highly creative way to reintroduce T'Challa in a sense. Even though we are gonna know that it's not the original T'Challa. You're still gonna have T'Challa as Black Panther at some point, I believe, and I think without having to do away with all the main cast of characters, now you can bring in a multiverse version of young T'Challa just from another
so
timeline.
I want to get to that because I have a
Oh,
question
okay,
for you on young T'Challa and Nakia.
okay.
Um, how come no Avengers were at his funeral?
You know what? I saw that somewhere on somebody say that somewhere online. I was like, that is a great point. I actually never thought about it while watching it, but that is a 100% valid point. I have no
Where's
idea.
Bucky?
Yeah, yeah, exactly. Like he knows them. Like, come on.
Like
Yeah, I don't
you're
know.
so cameo heavy in She-Hulk and
Right.
The previous Disney Plus shows. You're telling me like you couldn't have that Robert Downey Jr. moment where they all got down and knelt to him at the end of
Yeah.
Endgame. You
Yeah.
couldn't have some of the bigger characters come and pay their respects. That
Yeah.
okay. The
That
second,
does feel weird. That does feel weird.
right? Like
I
I
didn't. But what's funny is I didn't even think about it. I didn't. It didn't even cross my mind. But as soon as somebody said it, now I can't not like feel weird about
right. Um, before we get to young T'Challa, what did you think about them knocking off the Queen?
I mean, it was painful, but like, I mean, she's got to go eventually. So why not in the heat? I mean, she's like the elder ruler, and it better positions Shuri to be like in this place of having all of this pressure to step up and really lead. Because before that, like, Mama's got this, and I don't have to be Black Panther. I can just still be sulking and pissed off about losing my brother. But then once you lose Mama, now everybody's looking to you. So what are you gonna do? You know what I mean? So I got it. Like, I feel like that might even um I mean, maybe I'm like being more gracious than possible, but I think that might even add to a possibility of like Angela Bassett getting like an Oscar nod.
I thought for certain with how the movie was progressing, like, yeah, she can get an Oscar for this. And then
Yeah.
like
And then she dies.
then she dies. And I was like,
But still, I think, man, I don't know. Like, she was showing up. Like, it's like, oh yeah, they got a real actress here. Like, yeah,
so here's my gripe about young T'Challa, right? And I know
let's
I'm
hear it.
going way overboard with it
Oh, that's
and
fine.
I'm over analyzing.
Everybody at this point should know what they're gonna get out of Eric, aka Happy.
Happy.
By the way, I told I don't know if I want to say her name on the podcast, but my boss,
Yeah,
I
yeah.
told her your nickname. You
Happy.
came
Yeah.
up in conversation. Yeah. Anyways, continue.
How old would you say he was in that movie? Not the actor, but the character he's playing.
I mean, how old did he look, or how old should he
How
be?
old do you think he is?
Um, I mean, he looked like about, I don't know, between 7 and 9.
Okay. When did
That's what
he
I
have
thought.
time to have this kid because he was gone for 5 years?
um, but I mean, weren't they kind of a thing before? Like at the end of Black Panther, like they were
They
already,
said
they had
that
already.
they never, continued the story into Infinity War and Endgame, but Coogler and Feige has said Black Panther's storyline is consistent. Black Panther happens and then um, it coincides with Falcon and Winter. It's all in unison. And I'm sitting
Yeah,
here
but when?
thinking,
So I
like,
guess my question is, when did the snap happen in relation to Black Panther, the first one?
a couple of years after.
So if he and Nakia got pregnant right after Black Panther, then the snap happened. So then you got at least 5. So what? When did the snap? When did the snap unhappen? Like, how long after the snap, or the 5 years after this? You know what I'm saying? How long post snap is the, right? I don't know what you call that. Not from the
The
snap,
blip.
but like
The
the
blip is everybody coming
the
back.
blip. Yeah. So how many years post blip are we before we get to Black Panther 2? Then is the follow up question.
It's
Because
supposed
I
to
mean, it's
be.
close.
I think they did a bad job with the age of the character.
I mean, it's close because if you got 2 years before the snap, and then you got the 5 years, I literally wasn't doing math before I guessed his age being somewhere between 7 and 9. Because
Yeah.
I was thinking, here's what I was thinking. I was thinking about our kids. And I was like, okay, did he look like about our kids' age? I'm like, yeah, but maybe even a little younger. So that's why I was like putting him in my head around, okay, 9 to maybe like a 7, you know?
Yeah. So
So
what did you make out at the end of the movie with Neymar talking to Namora about the relationship with Wakanda going forward?
I mean, it seemed like he's all in for an ally. Oh, he did say something that sounded like he's
He
trying to take advantage of their alliance.
he's gonna bring the war to the surface.
Right. But then he said, what did he say? I think he said something like there's a war that's going to happen on the surface, and then they're going to lean on us, or they're going to look to
Yeah.
us for support or something like that. I don't know. It could be taken that way, that he's about to stir up a war, because that was what he already wanted to do, like at the beginning of this whole thing, right? Um, I don't know. I mean, that would be an interesting way to keep his character at the kind of the front of some of the conflict here, is to keep him stirring some things up. I did think it was interesting, on another note, um, that these guys look so much like another film getting ready to come out later this year. Like,
Avatar?
yeah.
Yeah.
I was like, is that did they look that way in the comic books? Do you know? I don't even remember. I
No,
remembered
I
him not
think
looking blue.
like I think they changed the colors to blue to kind of distance themselves from Aquaman and his world.
Oh, are they green in
No,
Aquaman?
they're just normal.
Well, I mean, I would have picked maybe a light green or a purple, but to go blue.
Yeah. But those guys weren't anybody to mess with. I mean, all of
No,
them.
man. That's why I'm like, how in the world? So that's that. If there's one thing that I think is a little unbelievable, the way that we saw them first showing up battle ready, they should not be losing to anybody.
I
Like
would agree with you.
Okoye's hardcore, you know. But I'm sorry, the Dora Milaje, they're not all at Okoye's level,
No.
you know. And there's not that many of them, and you got like a massive army of these like unstoppable blue dudes that like
And
should die, but then don't die.
they know how to sing.
Right. Where how come the singing never happened in that battle either? Like, yo, you could be throwing blows and laying chords.
So
Uh,
what did you think of Okoye's demotion? I was kind of stunned by that.
that was, you know what? But that also was the most like powerful scene for the queen. And when she started to explain, it was like hitting me. And I was like, man, I get that. Cause it's like, this is not the time for rational decisions. Sorry. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I'm sorry. Like, I don't care what makes sense. I don't care that you're a fiercest warrior. I don't care about all of your, sacrifice that you've done for us. All I had left was my daughter, and you lost her. Bye.
I was shocked.
Yeah.
And I guess like her feeling goes back to the first movie, right? Like the queen's feeling like you didn't help overthrow
That's a fact. Yeah. That is
Killmonger.
so true. Because it's like but like at the same point, like that, the thing that Okoye would say is to her credit is like, no matter what, I was loyal to this throne. I was loyal
Yeah.
to this country. At the same point, the queen's like, that is not helping you out right now, because guess what? I'm still talking about my family.
Yeah.
And you have not demonstrated loyalty to my family. Like, you did not support my son, right, and you've lost my daughter. Get out.
That's great too.
Yeah. And it's like I only had 2 strikes. Sorry, God
Yeah,
didn't
I
bless me
mean,
with a third.
overall, I liked it. I think
Yeah,
it's gonna be the best movie of Phase 4 easily.
yeah, yeah.
Um, you know, not that Thor provided any competition, but um, it's gonna be
Or Love and
interesting
Blunder.
to see where they go with the story. Now
Yeah,
M'Baku is king. Well, he were made
we
believe,
presume. Yeah,
right? So I wonder if you get, he finally, in the comics, he's, one of T'Challa's biggest villains.
yeah. And he looked more in that regard last movie, but this one I actually liked. And so, not knowing the comic book history, I actually liked that he was becoming more and more of like a champion for Wakanda, and
Well, we saw
trying
that
to
in we
ride
saw
for
that
them.
in Infinity War when, in the end of Black Panther 1 that,
Yeah.
you know, T'Challa said he needed an army in the end of Black Panther 1 and M'Baku said, "I bet you do." And are you going to help? And he's like, "Nope."
Yeah, right. But
But
then he eventually showed up.
he eventually showed up. Yes.
Yeah.
So that
But
would
then
be
this time though,
interesting.
he seemed more down like the whole time, but still not like completely, but more of, you know, I thought he was setting himself up the whole time to be the guy. So
Yeah.
I thought it made sense too at the end where, you know, and even in line with the stuff that we were talking about, where it doesn't look like Shuri is really a valid, option for rule, that
Yeah.
M'Baku is actually like stepping into that.
So the little article that I read about spoilers wasn't true all the way, huh? We didn't get that Doctor Doom
Right. Right.
post credit scene, and uh, some of the other stuff came about. But I think the next movie it's going to be all out war, and I wouldn't be surprised if like Kang is involved some way because he needs vibranium.
Yeah.
And I think that article that I sent you about Secret Wars being bigger than Endgame. Like if that happens, it's like holy smokes.
Well, I mean, and that does not surprise you, right? When you know the history of Secret Wars, and I don't know it completely, but like when I heard about it, I went and looked a little bit. I'm like, oh, okay, that feels like that would be even bigger than it, because Endgame, like the thing that was big about it was the final battle
Yeah,
where everybody was just showing up. But like Secret Wars would be like the whole movie would be, it seems like a bunch of battles, almost more along the lines of a civil war, even though Civil War still ultimately came down to their final battle as well, that they were kind of having at the airport, I guess.
yeah. I From what I'm reading, Ant-Man's movie is going to play a huge role into uh, the multiverse saga, and Shang-Chi's rings and the bangle from Ms. Marvel are apparently Kang's, and he needs it, and he needs Ant-Man's help to harness the quantum realm. And I kind of have a feeling that's how the showdown, like, he
I buy
wants
that
his
theory
he wants his relics back, and maybe he needs vibranium to make it happen. And then you're going to
to
see
like
a
power them
war.
all or something.
Yeah, you see a war on Wakanda, and then Neymar and his guys are going to jump in and
You're writing a whole phase here.
give me a job, Kevin Feige.
No, but I could totally buy that the bangle and the rings thing with Kang. I think that makes a lot of
It
sense.
just
And that'd be
like
cool.
this movie and Thor, She-Hulk, like they just don't fit into the multiverse saga. Like it just didn't, they
Well, I
brought
mean, the Thor movie, I can't tell you what we gained from that. Like that didn't feel like it moved anything further. At
no.
least with She-Hulk, we learned some things. Like we met a new character in She-Hulk. We met what's his son's name? Hulk's son's name?
Oh, Scar.
We met Scar. We got Daredevil.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So like at least it brought those things to the table. As much as I didn't like the whole show, it added that value. All we got from Thor is like, cool, Jane Foster became a Thor, and then she's gone.
We got a good villain that got knocked off quickly.
Oh, that's true. That's true. But yeah, but exactly. So it's like nothing that's staying. Like there's nothing that you gave us that
Hercules.
now helps us in the journey.
That would be it, Hercules.
I hope he works out. That didn't appeal to me. Like I don't know. Like I know that guy from Ted Lasso. I liked him in Ted Lasso. Does not seem interesting to me. I did not like the whole Zeus thing at all. Oh man, Thor: Love and Thunder, man. That I don't know. That is, if you know what it feels like. The longer I talk about it, the lower it sinks on my rankings of Marvel movies. Because there's just so many things that we're like, why? Like, what are you doing?
I think that the big difference is Chris Hemsworth has come out and said, as long as they want me playing Thor, I'll play it.
Yeah.
Where Robert Downey Jr. and Chris Evans were like, we've had enough.
Right. Although I just saw something recently from Chris Evans where it was like, oh, I miss being Captain America.
He's coming. They're both coming back.
I would say that totally read like, oh, you're not done. Like, okay.
They're both coming back.
All right. 100%. I would love to see that. I'm down.
I read today that Captain America 4 is going to have like 2 different villains, the leader and the Squadron Supreme.
Oh, nice.
They're like an Avengers, but bad guys.
Let's go. I'm ready.
Hyperion is like the Superman version in Marvel.
Yeah, yeah.
Like leader of the Squadron Supreme. So if that's the case, let's go. Let's go, Sam.
Yeah, you got some work to do. I want to know if they're gonna pretend like the power broker just never happened.
Dude, there's a lot that hasn't happened. Like, in all honesty, right?
Hopefully she shows up in Thunderbolts with like Valentina and the crew or something.
She would. Yeah, I think she will. What do you think it's like to wake up with Kevin Feige? Like, you have all of these stories, right, that like aren't leading. Do you think like he stresses out about this stuff, or he's like, I got it?
No, that's a great question. If I were Kevin Feige, I'd be stressed out about him. But I don't know if my nerves are normal. Because I stress out about things. I mean, last night was the only good night in the past 2 weeks that I had of sleep because I had just different things that I was stressing out about, I don't know. What do you think?
There's so many, like when we started, with Eternals, and then we went to Shang-Chi, like I kept saying, like, where are they going? Yeah, and you're like, we just got to be patient and see where it takes
us. You're always the where are we going guy. Like, right. I've noticed that about you. You're like, I want to know where we're headed.
Then you get like Spider-Man and Doctor Strange, and you're like, okay, we're going this route. Okay, that's great. And then we get a turd like Thor, and we get a turd like She-Hulk, and then we get Moon Knight, and we're like, oh.
Yeah.
And then like Black Panther comes out and it's like, okay, like great movie, but like, where are we going?
Where is this going? Yeah. Yeah. Well, where we're going is Secret Wars. I think that's ultimately where we're going. Especially if they're saying, by them saying that's going to be bigger than Endgame. So if you just think about that thought right there, now look backwards at what we got. Everything that was happening prior to Endgame was leading up to Endgame.
Yeah.
So like that was where it was all going. So I say the same thing now then. So if they're trying to tell us that Secret Wars is going to be bigger than Endgame, I'm going to tell you that everything that we got now is leading to Secret Wars. So
But like, is
this should
it
all have implications.
multiversal? Like, we got, an Endgame and Infinity War, we got Thanos and his army, right?
Uh-huh.
And I'm just firing off the cuff here. Like, so in Secret Wars, are we getting Kang and the Squadron Supreme? And are
Maybe.
we getting all these villains? Like, a huge
Why
show.
not, man? Why not have Kang, Squadron Supreme, maybe some of the Thunderbolts, because I hope all of them wouldn't be bad. Maybe like a Namor, and whoever else has shown up since then. Kingpin. I don't know. You know what I'm saying? Like literally, like why not bring all of the villains that you have introduced that you didn't kill off, and now they are in Secret Wars.
Do you think that would diminish Chris Evans and Robert Downey Jr.'s place in the MCU if they brought them back, like different versions, or maybe the
If
Chris Evans?
if they brought another Captain America back, another Steve Rogers, is that what you're saying?
Like, what if they brought back, like, what if they found a way to reverse the old man Steve Rogers and he became Steve Rogers again?
And so it's Chris Evans.
Yeah.
I mean, I feel like actually. I think you can maybe make it work with. No, I don't know. No, you can't. You're done with that. You really can't. Like, you can bring them back and like have a nice trip down memory lane type of movie. Where it's like, you know what I mean? Where it's like, I don't know. It's almost like a prequel, or they're back in a weird way helping out, similar to Toby and Andrew Garfield showing up in Spider-Man No Way Home, where it's like it's not their movie, but they're there and you're getting the nostalgic feels and yada yada yada. And maybe you start conversations about them having their own thing. But I think if you in the MCU relaunch a Garfield or a Maguire movie, you are diminishing like Tom Holland's, Spider-Man. And I think it'll be a weird thing to the mantle of Captain America if you're trying to hand it off to Anthony Mackie and Falcon, and then now Steve Rogers comes back and is like, well, what was it, a fumbled handoff? Like, what are we doing right now?
Let's be honest. Just be honest with me.
Yeah.
You take Kang, right?
Yeah.
And then you look down the line. Could Kang smoke Ant-Man? Yep.
Well, yeah.
Could Kang smoke Sam Wilson? Yep. Can Kang smoke Captain Marvel? Don't know.
Right.
Can Kang smoke Ms. Marvel?
But listen, you had that same conversation and take Kang out and put Thanos there. We did that. We saw that.
But you've got ordinary Joes.
Like, so that is one thing, and I don't know if we ever talked about this on the pod. That is one thing that has definitely happened since Endgame in the new phase, is that you have a humanization of the heroes that you didn't have as much before, where they were all really super. Now they're really normal.
You've got one leader. Doctor Strange.
I was just about to say, who is it? I don't even know. I forgot about Doctor Strange.
That's like, let's be honest, like seeing Shuri.
I mean, if Scarlet Witch can get her act together, she right.
She's gonna have some type of mental breakdown, and she's not gonna be around.
Well, and you're right, but that's also because they've just introduced a whole cast of like raw, unfinished characters who are like barely understanding what it means to be a superhero. So the one you're talking about, Doctor Strange, yeah, he was part of the old crew who was leading, and now he's like, okay, all right, I think I got this. I've got power, and I actually have a bit of maturity and some wisdom to help lead this thing.
Then you look down your roster and you got Kate Bishop, like.
But that's why it's got to be a team.
I'm
That's
not
why
going to war
it's
with
not
Kate Bishop.
one. Neither was Hawkeye, bro, and he did in the end. Okay,
That's just clever writing, but Doctor Strange really isn't going to war with Kate Bishop.
he's look. So look, he went to war with America Chavez, and she wasn't too much better. She just got lucky in the end. Okay, so she was basically a liability the entire movie. I mean, let's be honest. And then in the end, she finally figured it out.
I think like this round of heroes is like a couple of notches below.
Well, you know they are. They literally are. So, and I think two things are true. One, for good reason, Marvel started with their most awesome heroes. Like the ones that had the biggest fan bases, the ones that, we know of as being so amazing. But then the other thing that happened, which I'm just pissed off about, is they even took some of those awesome heroes and they weakened them and they made them soft like Hulk. Like I don't understand about like what they did to Hulk, like why that they thought that was a good idea. And like Thor is now like a goofball. I would love to see him come back to Endgame status Thor.
He's too busy painting smiley faces on his hammer now.
Right. It's like so. And then so they watered these like really fierce like godlike characters down, and then they're introducing like literal children and teenagers as superheroes, and then like just some really courageous humans like Falcon,
Yeah.
like, okay, yeah, like, way to go, buddy. Like, hold this shield and try not to die. Like
those wings could fly high.
yeah. And bring your buddy. He can take your old wings. Like, I mean, so Hawkeye, he's like, I can shoot really, really good, but you're still just an old dude. Like, how many like Advil do you have to take to get up for this game? So I get it. It's a ragtag bunch of just dudes going up against
that. What's below a ragtag?
I mean, who do we have though that like? So if Miss Marvel, can figure out her bangles, like she can do a little bit of something. Captain Marvel, she's fierce. If Monica Rambeau can like really like figure out her thing, we I think I heard somewhere that she's going to be going with the name Photon, which is one of her versions. So,
and we haven't even discussed the Eternals. Like, I think
man, if they would get in the, well,
nobody knows what's happening with them.
If they would get involved, now we're actually talking. But their history says they won't. But then again, so who knows?
That is funny. That is good. Well, and I don't think the Guardians are going to be doing much after this next movie.
No, that one's going to be sad, bro. That one's going to be a sad one. Like this, like I actually cried at Wakanda Forever, but I think it was half because of the impact of the moment and the end credit scene where, or I don't know if it was the end credit scene or whatever, but when Shuri was having that like mourning moment,
that flashback,
yeah, because what was different there than you normally see is you're seeing grieving on two levels. You're seeing it where like, man, Shuri is mourning her brother, but then you're also seeing Letitia Wright is mourning Chadwick Boseman. You know what I mean? Like actual people mourning actual people. Like, and that was all hitting me in that moment too. And then I'm like, oh, and I lost my brother a handful of years ago, So like I was having that moment, and so some tears, But why was I even mentioning that? Oh, because of what was the other thing that you just mentioned that I was like, oh, that was powerful? Oh man, my brain just shut down, bro. You mentioned something else. What were we talking about, man? Is it that late already that my brain is
Dude,
done?
it's about 10:40, 10:40.
Oh gosh. I don't even remember.
I
I
got
don't
one
even
of my
remember.
one of my cats. She pushed the door in and she's meowing at me because she's like, "Dude, it's
She's
bedtime.
like, it's time to go to bed,
You
Dad.
haven't fed me yet. I got to get my head
Oh,
scratches in."
we were talking about Guardians. So
Yeah,
Guardians of the Galaxy. Yeah, yeah. So that film I think is going to be powerful because I'm sure they're going to kill off half the cast. You know, if not everybody. It might be an end of Rogue One type of.
I think we're only going to lose one character, to be honest with you.
Yeah, are you thinking it's going to be the character? Oh
And I think it's going
man.
to be Rocket.
Oh, it's going to be Rocket. Oh, okay. Squish the little raccoon.
I think, there was some viral videos going around that the first logo of Guardians of the Galaxy was colored brown,
Okay.
and they put that with Groot being,
A
sacrificed,
tree.
and then the second logo was blue, and that kind of led to Yandu being knocked off. And this logo is brown and white, so they're putting their conspiracy theory hats on, and they're thinking it's going to be Rocket.
So then what happens when 2 weeks from now the logo changes colors again?
I don't know, dude.
I mean, like they're
It'll
just
give us something
playing.
else to
They're
talk
just
about.
playing. I was saying they're just stringing you guys along. Like I'm not going down that journey. Like nope. We'll see.
I think.
I
I mean,
think.
I'm
I
excited for
think
that
Drax is
Christmas
gonna
special.
die. I think Chris Pratt's gonna die.
No, I don't think so. I think he's going to stay around. Like all of their contracts are up,
Oh, okay.
so it kind of leaves it open. But I think he's coming back.
All right. Well, if you think so, that's encouraging.
I think. What do I know though?
That is true. All right, my friend. You got any final thoughts? I feel like we took around
Yeah, man.
a journey around the world and
To our
back.
last
But
episode, I went out and fed my apple appetite.
oh, what'd you get? What is that?
That is the MagSafe battery.
Ooh. Oh wow. So it's like portable.
So if you want to charge on the go and you don't want to be tethered by a wire,
Nice. So does that have a special? Is there a special case that you put on your phone that has the magnetic back, or is it just suck onto your actual
what
phone?
what version phone do you have?
I don't even know. Like a 10.
The 12s were the first phones that they had the MagSafe on the back.
Ah, let me see. Let me see the back. No, the phone. Oh,
This
and
is
that's
just the
like built
case.
in.
That's just the
Oh,
case. But yeah, it's in the phone. So
oh, okay. So if you took the case off, it'd still be the same.
yeah,
Okay,
yeah.
gotcha,
But
gotcha.
you know,
Cool.
in construction, when I was out on jobs, like none of these places would have electric, and I didn't want to
Right.
sit in the car and charge the phone. So it's nice, man. It charges. It was a little early Christmas gift to myself. So
Nice. Well, if and when I wait, does that when show me the face of the MagSafe, the other show me the face. Flip it the other way. So does that need that case? Is that what it lines up into? Or the circle
the
because the
circle
circle in the
is on the case. It's not on the phone.
so does it need that case though? Because it
No,
matches with the Max. Oh,
no.
okay. It just happens to have that same.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, okay.
So
Cool. Well, when I upgrade to one that would have it, then I'll go ahead and get a Max because that would be cool to have
and
a
then
MagSafe battery.
the wallet, got the Mag wallet.
Look at you! Look at you!
I've gone way overboard on Apple.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. He decided to go buy the whole tree, you guys.
I um I bought in.
Yeah.
I'm craving like new stuff that they come out with.
Oh man, they really got their claws into you now.
Oh yeah, dude. They have. So yeah, that was an early Christmas gift. I don't think the wife would have been too happy if I bought the new set of headphones. I think that probably would have earned a night on the couch. So uh, I went with the safe bet and got the battery.
Well, you guys can't see this, but I'm going to show Eric something that I just sent Larissa today that I wanted as a Christmas present. I don't know if you can really make that out.
What is that? Oreos?
So it is. So it doesn't come with the cup, I don't think, or maybe it does. But it is there's like a cup where you would have your milk, and then it has a carrying case essentially for your Oreo cookies attached to the cup, and then it comes with like tongs so that you can grab your Oreo and dip it into the milk, because a lot of times, you'll get your fingers in your milk. You don't want to get your fingers all milky. So I saw that today, and I texted Lisa. I was like, this is the only thing I have on my Christmas list right now. Oh, gosh. Not to mention the fact that I need to lose weight, and bad.
Hey, dude, I went to my cardiologist appointment, and I've told you and everybody listening that I am fearful of my cardiologist. I lost 15 pounds, and I was feeling good. I was feeling good about myself, and it didn't mean nothing to him.
Oh, no. Oh, man. Well, that's demoralizing.
I'm like, all right, I don't know what else to do.
You're like, I'm going to go have a slice of pizza.
I've made changes in my breakfast routine. Okay. I used to be like a donut guy, bagel. I've gravitated to Kind products for breakfast.
Nice.
And I think that has paid small dividends so far. So
I enjoyed their CEO on Shark Tank.
I loved watching him on Shark Tank.
Yeah.
So
nice. Well, hey man, good job, and hopefully the next time we talk. No, I'm not even gonna lie. I was about to say, hopefully next time we talk, I'll be telling you that I've lost some weight, and I'm like, I don't see any reason why that would happen between now and the next time we'll talk, because it's going into Christmas time. I just got through baking some cookies last night. Like,
nice, dude, nice.
So maybe sometime in January we'll have that conversation. Oh man. Well, on that note, it has been an awesome conversation as always, Eric. And I hope you guys at home have enjoyed. Please let us know if there's some things that you'd love to hear us talk about. You can reply on our Instagram or hit us an email at hosts@gooddadbaddadpod.com. And share, subscribe, like do all that, do all that business.
Now if we head on YouTube, there's the other cat number 4 coming to say, dude, it's bedtime. What are you doing?
4 cats. You guys are into cats just like you're into Apple products.
I'm only responsible for 2 of the 4.
Okay.
My wife's on the hook for the other 2.
Well, on that note, you guys, we need to go get some beauty sleep so our cats can leave us alone. And we will see you guys back here next time on the next episode of the Good Dad, Bad Dad Pod.
Peace. Good Thanksgiving, everybody. Peace.